go hide in the loft.
I'm here to collect Mr. Hawthorne's rent! Shut that! Please! Before I get yourself in the wheel now! Christ almighty! Johnny Fletcher busted into a farmhouse and property cleanup.
You bring me back that stuff to false.
Well, well, look at what we have here. Please don't kill me.
Gentleman John Fletcher! Damn it!
Johnny Fletcher! Don't make me chase you!
I didn't kill nobody. I didn't murder that family. That don't rightly matter to me. You're a bounty hunter. You're a wanted man. Here.
Out of the night that covers me, black is the pit from pole to pole. I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeoning of chance, my head is bloody, but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade. And yet the menace of the years finds, and shall find me, unafraid. It matters not how straight the gates, how sharp the punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
Nocturn. Stand down and no one has to die today.
This only ends one way.
They'll kill you all.
Why not take your chances in a prison cell?
Alright, I'm coming out.
My lord, I have a report.
Speak.
Our latest assassination attempt on Lady Nocturn has failed.
I can see stronger measures are needed. Begin phase 2.
Captured! The notorious Lady Nocturn has been brought in through the valiant efforts of the Void Cobras.
Get on the damn bird.
Prisoner, take 5 steps, then stop and turn to your right.
But the pirates of Velix Mortis are far from defeated.
My lord, I have a report.
Let's cut to the chase, since we both know that this isn't a social call and you didn't come here to waste time.
Fine. High Command is gambling that the attempt on your life by your so-called friends has made you willing to cooperate. Am I wasting my time now?
What fate will befall the disgraced former pirate?
The Minotaur sends his regards, traitor.
What does your High Command want, and what are they offering in return?
High Command wants many things, but it wants a show of good faith first.
Fire Team 1, move up. Fire Team 2, covering fire.
Bravo Team 1, push up. Bravo 2, give us support.
What next for now infamous mercenaries, the Void Cobras?
I want every last pirate I used to run with dead. I don't want to be watching over my shoulder every hour of every day.
Now you die!
Will the Void Cobras become targets of Lady Nocturn's former pirate comrades?
Attention, crash override. This is Freighter Ebony Hawk. My ship just lost all power and thrust. We're going down. Mayday, mayday, mayday.
There truly is no honor among thieves. You rabble will turn on each other at the slightest provocation.
Okay, fine. Moving past you.
Find out on the next episode of Star Citizen Nocturne.
Jameson, you copy?
Touch me now, I don't want to live without you. Nothing's gonna change my love for you.
Jameson, we require immediate emergency extract.
I don't know, man. It looks kind of hot over there.
Of interest in my life to idiots.
Okay, got it working, Sarge.
Alright, Corporal. Good work. Follow me! Y'all remember what Sarge said? Stay together, keep comms clear, and heads on the swivel. Clear. Okay, we're gonna secure it, then sweep the entire ship for survivors. Channel, you take point. Doc, you're behind me. Corporal, you're bringing up the rear.
Understood, Sergeant.
Taking flack.
Oh shit, I just saw something. Oh my god!
Get the hell out of here!
Get him off me! Get him off me! Get him off me! They're getting in my armor! Ah!
I got into collecting bounties when a gang of bandits bushwhacked my wife, my best friend Coyote, and me. Meet the Jones brothers.
To take a look at the situation in which you find yourself.
That's Joshua.
Kind of real bad. What's the Indian word for
Next to him is Rufus the Doofus.
Heck, I don't know. You're just trying to make me look dumb.
Alright, I want to
Next
see
to
rifles
him is
on the
Lyman.
ground.
Remember those faces.
And 6.
You'll see him again.
8 hands praising Jesus.
The other ones, well, ain't no use in introducing. They're all dead.
Run!
Obadiah, get the saddlebags!
I got him!
I later discovered the Jones brothers were all wanted men. Figured I might as well get paid for taking my revenge.
Man, we still wanted for justice.
The post is still on the wall?
So I hunted down the ones we didn't kill. Lyman, he sang like a bird. Rufus and Joshua were smuggling contraband down the river. Always to the same spot. I found a nice perch on a bluff above the river where I knew they would eventually be. During the war, I was a sharpshooter. Coyote's Whitworth came in handy. For weeks, I tracked them. Then I killed them.
I hear him saying that people need to check it out.
If you like our content, we'd appreciate if you'd like, subscribe, and get notifications. Help us extend our reach by sharing our video content. And if you want to help us beat the algorithm, also leave us a comment on some of our videos.
All right, can you guys hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Oh,
Yeah. I'm on a laptop in a completely different part of the house, so I just wanted to make sure that shit wasn't jacked up like it was the last time I tried to do this. I'm all paranoid now. All right.
man.
Well, what's up, fam of Liberty, and everyone else who's not in the fam that's just hanging out in the comments trying to figure out what in the fuck we're going on the air for. I'm Admin Tim, and with me is our Ukrainian-American AdminJenn, and joining us again is Bobby Jones, Commander U.S. Navy retired.
Yep, glad to be back, and AdminJenn, pleasure to meet you. I wish it was under much different circumstances. I really do.
I'm gonna let you guys take it away because I already said my shit.
I got to be honest with everybody. What I saw yesterday bugged me to the point where I couldn't sleep. I couldn't do a lot of things, and I reached out to Tim. I was like, dude, please tell me that y'all are having some session coming up soon, because it's like an actual therapy session that is needed here, man. I mean, let me tell y'all something right now. I have always been proud to be an American. I always will be, but I've never been more embarrassed to be an American as I was yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's the word that I have to use to describe, is embarrassing. And I feel like I need to apologize for like the entire nation, to all of our allies, but specifically to the people, the brave, unbelievably brave people of Ukraine. I really do. Good Lord, what that was yesterday was an utter disgrace to what we say we're supposed to be about. What, millions of lives over 80 plus years fought and died to make. And, the entire world has been motivated by what Ukraine has done. And AdminJenn, I'll kick it over to you, but there are no words. And I'm a pretty verbose, person, but I got no words for this.
I don't have any words either, to be perfectly honest with you. And the other thing I want to say is I can't get through the whole video.
Yeah.
I can't get through it. I just, even now,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
My family came here wanting so badly to be American. I was raised to be so proud to be American. And, I remember my family would get so angry because they would speak Ukrainian to each other. And they didn't want us to know that. And I remember them like hissing at each other under their breaths, like angry, like they're supposed to be American. Don't teach them this. Don't teach them Ukrainian. They're not supposed to know that. We just want them to be American children. And when I think about all that my family went through to come here, and all of the stories I've heard, some funny, some heartbreaking, and it's just devastating. It's devastating to see all of this and to have to stand by and watch. Like, I've never been so ashamed. And I don't want to feel like that. I want to do everything I can to get back to my rah-rah, you know, American self. But I'm having a tough time. I'm Aaron and I were talking earlier about, you know, we're both trying to come up with things to write. And I had a rant I wanted to do. And today just, I couldn't get my brain together enough. Do you know what I mean? Just to put it, put it into words. I was going off on different tangents and there were so many things I wanted to say. And in fact, yesterday I actually had it written up perfectly, lost it. So I'm just going back and I'm trying to get myself there, but it's hard to organize your thoughts. It's hard to stay focused when you're so angry. You're so fucking angry. That's how I feel. I mean, I'm sure you guys feel the same way, ashamed, angry, and embarrassed. And I don't know. I don't know what else to even say about it.
Well, first of all, I just want to say you're not wrong in how you feel, obviously. I mean, dude, feel the way you feel. Secondly, I want to say hi to Admin Elo. Hello, nice to see you again. But let me just hit on a couple of things, right? I had to fight through the emotion. I went out today with my wife and, you know, walking around thinking through this. For lack of a better term, and I hate using this pun, but we have to, at this point, soldier on, meaning we have got to check our emotions enough to effectively message and counter this. Because right now, the spin machine, which has been in overdrive since the end of that tragic press conference, and you know, all the way to they kicking the Ukrainian delegation out the White House, which that was the thing that really pushed me over the top. The how dare you moment, right? They want us to be emotional about this. So we can't focus and say to them, this is unacceptable. Now, the spin machine has been in overdrive, especially on certain news channels, because they realize how catastrophic this is internationally and even domestically, but definitely internationally. I mean, that response internationally from guess who? Our NATO allies, you know, was overwhelming. It was solid. It was solidarity and unifying quickly.
Thank God.
You know, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. The fact of the matter is, we have now undone 80 years, millions of lives, and have destabilized that in less than 45 days. And the Americans here that are trying to spin this like this is some winner, America first. How the hell are you putting America first when you have just willingly given up leadership of the world to lick the boots of the person that we formed these alliances to fight? I don't understand how you can sit there and say that makes America first. If you listen to Russian state media the last 24 hours and listen to the talking points that not just President Trump, not just Vice President Vance did, but the entire cabinet, because they were told, every cabinet member tweeted out Russian talking points, every one of them, because they were directly told by the White House Communications Office to do so. They know how bad this is. And now they're going to try to gaslight the American public into believing that, hey, Russia is who we want to be like. We voted with Russia in the UN here recently. I'm sorry, I'm old enough. I came up in the 80s. G.I. Joe, you know what I'm saying? Transformers, Reagan. I'm telling you right now, it is against my DNA to even have these things pop into my mind, right? And so now, instead of leading the world, we are now the number one target of it. And we're not ready for that smoke. I hate to break it to everybody who thinks they're badasses. Oh, yeah, I could fight, blah, blah. No. What the Ukrainians are doing is the badasses that you're trying to talk about. The ones that dropped their damn wives and kids off at the train station, picked up their weapons and went back front. That's who you're talking about. They're doing it. And you want to side with the people that unprovokedly, nakedly invaded their country. How is this? I swear to God, I'm a Marvel Comics fan. I feel like I'm in an alternate multi-universe timeline.
You're not the only person that said that to me today.
I've not been put in place, and somebody's going to Steve Rogers and fix this because this don't make any sense to me.
MAGA is the opposite of Ukrainians. Ukrainians defend their capital.
I saw that one today. I saw one.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh my God.
I've been having to explain to people, like, they have this alternate universe they live in where Ronald Reagan single-handedly won the Cold War and we were allies with Russia during World War II. So they're okay. Like, wow.
I mean, they are doing Simone Biles level gymnastics
they really
to
are.
Try to justify this. And they can't. They can't. Because here's the thing. The Cold War was at 9 presidents, if I'm not mistaken, to cause this creation of collapse. Whether it was Democrat or Republican, the national security strategic thought process was stop the Russians, stop the spread of communism, stop authoritarian rule. That's what it was. It could have been Eisenhower. It could have been Kennedy. It could have been anybody.
We were united on that.
But we all agreed on this. This was like cardinal law. When Reagan came in the 80s to finish this thing off, right? You know what I'm saying? Congress was Democratic. People forget that initially, right? Tip O'Neill and him actually got along on a lot of things. This was one of them.
Yeah, they were all on the same page. And it actually says a lot about how bad Nazism was for us to ally with communists, because the rest of the entire 20th century was us against communism. And that's what it went right back to it. There was a brief interlude where they had an opportunity. And ever since then, they've been destroying any opportunity they had, destroying the rule of law, destroying journalism. That's where we're at. And as soon as Putin walked in, this was going to happen.
You know, I honestly don't think Boris Yeltsin, you know, who was the guy before Putin, that's how long Putin has been doing this.
Yeah,
right?
It's incredible.
You know, Boris Yeltsin made him basically the successor to follow him. And he never envisioned this. He actually freaked out about it before he died. But let me just give y'all an overview of what I think just happened yesterday. I think NATO as we know it is officially done. I want y'all to process that. The longest alliance of this many nations in human history effectively died the last day in February 2025. That's literally 80 years, basically, since the end of World War II to now. That's number one. Number two, we are watching an American Congress now sit there and rip themselves apart, not on domestic policies, not on international policies, but fundamental, what does it mean to be America? If you've seen the comments that have come out of the House and the Senate, it should make everybody pause, okay? We have undone 80 years of stability through the ups and downs of human tribulation around the world, from revolutions to independence movements to all in 45 days, basically. Okay, that's additionally, I saw today that Trump is sending 3,000 more troops to the border for domestic, you know, to do border support, this, that, and the other. Understand, people who are listening to me, one of the reasons that we are in NATO and have these alliances is because if things really pop off, we need those allies to respond. And now we're sending troops to do domestic things that, to be completely honest, are not in their mission set, which will change. All of us who've been in military will change their training cycles, delay their certifications. So if they have to deploy on short notice, they're not going to be as equipped. They're not going to be as ready. There may be a delay, et cetera, et cetera. And at the same time you're doing that domestically, you're kicking the hornet's nest internationally and pissing off your allies. There's a second and third order effect to everything that's happening, right? And then finally, on top of all the stuff that we talk about, you're gutting the continuity of government known as civil service. From NOAA, which the United States Navy relies on to send their ships out, to the EPA, to IRS, you name it, is being gutted. And all of that helps the stability, the functionality, and the effectiveness of not government when it's in peacetime. No. when government is in crisis. That's when you need these civil servants that you're kicking out that have 10, 15, 20, 30 years. So we're burning a candle at both ends. Internationally, we're saying, hey, we don't.
Oh. Stuck.
We lost you, Bobby.
You got a great pause face, though.
It is a good pause face.
Let me tell you something. Oh, no.
I blame Elon Muscolini.
I know.
Me too.
I'd like to point out that NOAA helps everybody, including businesses and commerce. Like, do they think like they don't have they have their own special weather reports? No. It's everybody gets it from the National Weather Service and NOAA.
I mean, let's just pilfer a line from my favorite TV series, Firefly. I can see you weren't burdened with an overabundance of schooling. There we go. He's back.
Sorry, I don't know. You know. Oh, and by the way, we killed our cybersecurity arm to go after Russia here this week as well. That was a nice dump that didn't happen. So maybe I just got cyber attacked. I don't know. But the thing is, we're hollowing out the apparatuses to deal with these type of issues. At the same time, we're creating the issues. Right? I don't know.
And our allies are starting to split.
Yes.
So the USS Virginia.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you like this: the same mistakes before World War I, we're repeating in earnest right now. Over 100 years later, we have destabilized the alliances we had, which forced the countries back then to look for new alliances. Because they weren't sure of the security of those alliances, what did they do? They ramped up their armaments. The arms race began, right? And everybody was jacked up to do something, and all it took was a spark. When Archduke Ferdinand was killed down there with Sarajevo, he wasn't even that big of a deal. He was like eventually going to be a king or a ruler, but no one was thinking about him. So to show you how serious one spark, that led to, if you really want to count the world wars together with the interwar years, 80 million people dying. 80 million people and an entire generation gone. Right now, because it seems like no one likes history that's in the current administration, you come into office, you sit there and say, trade war with our closest allies, the ones next door to us. First, internationally, okay? Secondly, we come in and then say, I'm going to meet with Russia and see what's going on. Oh, Russia, I trust them. I trust them, and you should too. And the first thing you do is send your Secretary of Defense, after getting off of weekend duty at Fox News, to go over and tell NATO, we don't think y'all that important. We're not going to be as involved. We know that Russia just, nakedly ran into another country. And then for Trump to say to Zelensky's face that Putin will honor whatever deal they come up with because he trusts Putin and Putin trusts me. And Zelensky sitting there lays out in chronological order how Putin had not done anything, just like a certain dictator from 1933 to 1945 did the exact same thing on the exact same continent. It's almost like, how bad did you fail history class? And for J.D. Vance, the Yale-educated J.D. Vance, to sit there with his little fake salt and pepper beard trying to regain some masculinity or something. I don't know. To sit there and look at a dude that's been at war. He's been at war for 3 years, burying his dead. For him to sit there and say, you should say thank you. Like I'm watching a school, like something out of Mean Girls 2.0. In the damn Oval Office is the most insulting thing I have ever seen. Someone just, I have an Instagram. It's NAVSHAD 42. NAVSHAD42 Instagram. And I do stuff. We talk about this all the time. But ladies and gentlemen, you are not wrong to feel bad. Because especially this crowd, most of which who are veterans, y'all know the hours and hours and hours upon training that you did to stop this type of stuff from happening. The deployments, the missed birthdays, the injuries, the deaths, the people you had to bury, all this. And it's like, it doesn't matter. The 80 years of us doing this didn't matter. And so you have a country in Ukraine who did not ask for any of this shit, who'd already been invaded in 2014, who just wants a fighting chance because they want a democracy. And to be thrown out of the White House. Let me say that again. Thrown out of the White House because they didn't grovel enough is the most sickening thing I have seen in my lifetime on the international diplomatic stage. That's not an exaggeration.
And how dare they ask someone to grovel? You think he hasn't said thank you? He has said thank you 8 million times in 10 million different ways. He has said thank you to our country. He has said thank you to our citizens. He has said thank you to every single state.
Joint session of Congress.
It's the most ridiculous shit I've ever seen in my life. And you know, it just makes me so angry when I think about everything. I don't think people understand. I remember when nuclear weapons were removed from Ukraine in 1991, I want to say.
Yes.
I remember that. I remember growing up and going to private school here and being on the schoolyard, and the little boys were trying to shoot at me with their AK-47 because of my weird sounding last name during the Cold War.
Yep.
When I think about everything that we have fought to get here, to have independence, to do all the things that we've done, it just is so infuriating to me to see everything fall apart for somebody who is simply a malignant narcissist. He doesn't care. What are they going to end up with in the end? What are they going to end up with? They're going to own everything, and then what? All of us are going to be gone. There's going to be nobody to rule over. You just have a big pile of gold. Congratulations.
Yeah. No,
I think he's not even there anymore. I honestly think he's being a lot manipulated and doesn't even know. He's already an idiot, but now I think he's not even putting 2 and 2, and he's being manipulated.
I think
elder abuse.
I think what you're seeing here is a man that is so used to lying and wanting to be first. He's lying on muscle memory. He has no idea. So when he talked about when Zelensky gave, 2014 by 2015, all this kind of stuff, and he tried to correct him. He's like, no, it's 2014. He doesn't know. JD had to step in and try to tell him. And so it's a man who's just full of piss and vinegar and pride. But here's my question for everybody on the stream. Where was this testicular fortitude when he's talking to Putin? He's supposed to be negotiating between two sides. He has dictated all of this to Zelensky. I have never seen him come close to having that tone, that attitude, that verbiage, that whole demeanor with Vladimir Putin.
Putin is the one pulling every single string in this
scenario. I agree.
There is no one else at play here except for what Putin wants, and he is telling them one way or another, manipulating them. Maybe. I think he's just outright telling them what to do.
Yes. Yeah,
and how to say it. And I think there was a plan going into this. Obviously, it was like, okay, between him and Marco, whoever goes after Zelensky is the one that's going to get the gold star at the end of the day.
Right. They set him up for failure.
The gold watch.
They set him up for failure. And I'm going to take it a step further. I believe that instance right there that you saw, and you notice where JD Vance was sitting and Marco Rubio was sitting, I believe that right there was like, who's going to succeed me? Who's got the vileness for me to back to succeed me when I leave this seat? Because that's the reason those two are even in the positions they're in. Marco Rubio left to be Secretary of State and JD to be vice because they want to be president. And they couldn't beat him.
Rubio didn't even look like he wanted to be there.
Oh,
he looked like he was trying to slink into the furniture. The people that pointed that out online. Absolutely true.
If he could have vanished, he would have been gone. Right.
I'll tell you what, I have a theory about that though, right? Because when you come from here and you grow up with a Cuban background and you grow up so close to remembering what it was like living in communism, living in that, hard existence, I think that he gets overwhelmed with it, right? He gets
Yes.
overwhelmed with, this is going to happen again. I'm going to end up in a country that is run by Russia.
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
Run by
Because he seemed to
communism.
understand. He looked like he understood that this was
bad.
No, he knew it. They knew it, which is why
Yeah.
they scrambled on social media. They went on all the talk shows they could to try to offset it. Here's the thing that blows my mind, ladies and gentlemen, is this. If you would have told me when I signed up to do this at 18, that one day, the most prominent voices in government are going to be two foreigners, one from Russia, one from South Africa, and it's going to completely change what you know as the United States of America, I would have laughed my black ass off at you. I would have said, there's no damn way.
It'll never happen.
Right. Where is this coming from? Right. But here we are. Domestically, you have Elon Musk, who has the most power in the United States right now. Internationally, you have Vladimir Putin, who has the most power in the United States right now. And here's my thing. Congress is impotent. The only people that have stood up and said anything has been the judiciary, and it depends on the case. But you have no pushback. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how you lose a democracy, where you do not have checks and balances that are actually acting, right?
Yeah.
And so between that, and then that's not even talking about the Friday night massacre of losing the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the chief of naval operations, the commandant of the Marine Corps. Oh, by the way, the only three at that level that aren't white men, and then removal of the Army, Navy, and Air Force JAGs. Are you serious? And then also Friday, new guidance on airstrikes and who can conduct them and who gives the permission to do it. It's going back to the commanders, meaning the White House wants nothing to do with it. They'll have plausible deniability. And so if we take something out and civilians die, the White House is going to be like, well, it was the field commander. Let's fire them. No, sir. That's your doctrinal policy. As someone who had to deal with rules of engagement in the Middle East, I'm telling you, they're doing this so they can do things without having to be held responsible politically for it. And I understand there are levels to this, but for them to do it and to sneak into it and do that on a Friday, where everybody else was paying attention to what happened in Oval Office, come on, man. You're not slick.
It's
You're
the same
not
thing
slick.
with getting rid of the IGs for the
17.
civil service.
17.
That they slide in. They're like you said, they're doing it on both ends.
They because remember, let's take that way back machine to 2017 through 21. The institutions held against Trump. They impeached him twice. You had people resign. You had like Mattis, those guys were like, no, we're not allowing this. And so this time he's hollowed out the institutions by putting sycophants, non-qualified sycophants. We have to hope and pray that there's no real crisis right now, because guess what? FEMA's been gutted. Okay. Your Department of Defense is being led by a goddamn talk show host. Yes, everybody talks about his military service. Look at his record. Those of us that serve, no. Not spectacular, not in the least bit, not in the least bit. Okay. And then finally, the press, I'm going to get on them for a second. They should be deep frying him for this. My litmus test for my friends here in the state of Georgia is very simple. If Barack Obama did it, would you be for it? If Barack Obama fired 17 goddamn inspectors general within a week of checking in, would you be cool with it? If he sat there and got someone from Kenya that's a billionaire and said, I'm going to let him go run roughshod in the Treasury and the Department of Defense, would you be cool with it? If Barack Obama said, we're going to back Russia, what would the American public do?
They would melt down. They would absolutely melt down.
It's like, it's because we expect terrible things and he's living up to it. That makes it okay somehow. It's like, they already said he's a bad person, but we're going to vote for him anyway.
And by the way, I see in the chat, I know that the press has been kind of rooted out of the White House, specifically the AP and Reuters, fully aware. They should be beating the table every day they're not in the press pool. Every day. Don't sit there and be like, oh, I guess we're out. Newsmax is in. No, sir. You have clout.
Saying that, oh, we don't have control of the House and the Senate anymore. We can't do anything. Stop you haranguing us, but give us more money to try to react to everything instead of coming up with strategies on what to do, short term and long term.
Look, there are people there are people that are resisting even inside the government as they're holding on barely to their jobs. There are groups, y'all have seen them on Reddit. They are fighting back and like, hey, this is happening, this, that, and the other. It's up to the press, the traditional press, to magnify those voices. You want to be journalists? Be damn journalists. Don't be celebrities. Go find the information. Go do the work. You and I both know that if you work in the federal government, you can't vocally say anything while you're working because we're supposed to be object. Why are we talking? We're talking because we're talking for the vets, for the active duty. They can't. The ones that have gotten orders to get ready to go to Gitmo to do these off damn campus freaking detainment camps. Like, again, we're repeating the same mistakes in the 1930s. They can't say nothing. You know how many texts that I get from former sailors and Marines that I know talking about this doesn't make any sense to me? To sit there and watch freaking the president of Ukraine come here and the first thing out their mouth is freaking Marjorie Taylor Greene's boy toy talking about, why aren't you wearing a suit? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? When Winston Churchill showed up in 1939 and 1940 and 1942, he didn't wear one either. Because he was in war. He was in solidarity with the struggle. But, you know, the guy who's sitting there saying, you know, Marjorie Taylor Greene's little love toy with his aerodynamically sound, rotund ass wouldn't know the first thing about it. I'm sick and tired of these people who have never put anything on the line for anybody else, questioning the actions of those who are living, breathing it. Every soldier that dies on Ukraine soil hurts that man. If you've seen it in interviews with them, you know it hurts that man. He didn't expect this when he came into office. Who could? And so the world rallies around him, and the biggest damn gorilla on the block is like, I'm going to take my toys and go home. What are we doing?
The people criticizing Zelensky, they are just...
It's mind-blowing.
What are you talking about? Gobsmacking. It's just, what the fuck?
And, you know, I struggle with trying to explain to people the spirit in which Ukrainians are raised. Okay. We were always taught they'll come again. They're going to come back. Yes. They're going to try and take us down again. Yes. They're going to, and always be ready. Be ready. And do you know that that's exactly what happened when this invasion happened? Yep. Everybody stopped what they were doing and they picked up arms. And they did whatever they had to do to support each other. Because that's how we're raised. I don't know how to explain that to other people, but it's a cultural thing.
I mean, like, literally on your border is your end, right? And y'all have to. Well, first of all, I don't think the average American realizes why Ukraine is so valuable to Putin, to Russia. Ukraine was the brain center of the Soviet Union. The technology, the space race, the weapons, all of that came from Ukrainian scientists. Okay, the minerals that are there that, you know, Trump wanted to just basically hijack from Ukraine, valuable, found nowhere else in that quantity in the former Soviet Union. The breadbasket, the wheat that Ukraine provides helps feed all of Europe and Africa. Okay, Ukraine is amongst the most valuable real estate on the planet. But when you look historically at their warrior culture, when you look at their scientific achievements, they were the flame, the torch of a fierce Soviet Union. It came from them. And Putin knows that. He came up in the KGB. He knows how valuable that culture and the assets are, which is why he has now tried twice, not once, twice to take it. And now getting beat so bad, they brought in North Korean conscripts. That's the other thing. JD's talking about, you're having a hard time feeling military. This idiot is bringing people from other countries to get slaughtered because he's getting his ass kicked so bad by the Ukrainians.
Front too.
Right.
Putting North Koreans right up front. Here you guys.
Watch North Koreans get bodied on fucking drone cameras.
It's unbelievable.
Yep.
I might have put my hand down my pants for a little bit.
It's unbelievable. They show up and they go directly to the front. Yep, do not pass go. Collect $200. Get your ass up there. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason for this. Strategically, it has become harder for Putin to recruit. Let's not forget there was an exodus of Russian men that left in the first year of that war. They wanted no parts of that. They had to go get prisoners. prisoners to go
Not
fight.
just any prisoners, though. The worst.
Yeah.
And you know, the other thing that I want to say too is I was getting my hair cut and a kid walked in and he was talking to the lady at the reception and she asked him, she said, "Oh, do you have an email or something? And I'll give it to my boss." And he went to go spell his last name and I could hear the accent and I knew. And I heard him spelling his last name and it just went on and on and on. Just like when I spell my last name, it's, 26 letters and, so on and so forth. And I saw him and he saw my tattoo. I have the Ukrainian tattoo. And he came over and he said to me, "Oh, you're Ukrainian, wanted to talk to me." And I just stood up and I said, "I'm so glad you're here and I'm so glad that you're safe." Because as Ukrainians, Russians are our brothers and sisters. In my family alone, mostly Ukrainian, but always some Russian, because we grow up together, right? We all know each other's families. We celebrate things together. It's so intertwined. And our anger and our frustration is not directed at the Ukrainian people. It is definitely directed at the Russian people. It's definitely directed at the Russian government. And specifically Putin. Because this is another thing that we saw coming. When I heard people saying the other day, like, "Oh, well, this so-and-so is a Russian agent," I don't want to, say it, but because I don't know how much of that has been proven. But I heard that growing up, right? I heard that there were certain people in the U.S. that, were probably working for Russia, people whose names you would recognize, So you have to keep an eye on these types of things. So I'm not surprised at all to hear something like that. And I tend to believe it. Do I have proof? No, but I tend to believe it.
Makes a lot of sense.
Well, I mean, what else makes logical sense here, ladies and gentlemen? And because you cannot have, like I said, almost 80 years of consistency when dealing with that particular country, right? Despite different policies, different ways of looking at it, different extenuating circumstances, but you still have this thread of continuity, and then all of a sudden, bam, it ends. And I mean ends abruptly, right? There's like no thawing of relations like when Nixon went to China in like 72. No. This was like, Russia's our buddies. I believe Russia's intelligence over my own intelligence people.
Yeah. And he had somewhat denigrated NATO under the guise of everybody should pay their fair share kind of talk, but it wasn't scaled like this.
No. So let me ask everybody, especially in chat, what have been the reactions around you, like wherever you are in the world? What have people said when they saw these clips? Like you said, you some of us couldn't even finish the film. I went back and watched it twice. And I was still angry, but I'm just curious. Is it just us? Is it just the veteran community, the civil service community, people who care about others besides themselves that feel outraged about this?
And I'm not even a veteran.
Right. Well, yeah, but it's the mindset.
A veteran, but I'm not a veteran. But yeah.
But, I mean,
our
please tell
YouTube
me.
comments. I have a lot of international followers on Sons of Liberty because I guess word got out. All but your breath. And there's so many people from overseas. There's a lot of Australians following, but a lot of people from like the UK and Republic of Ireland. So there are people from Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland, England that are just watching this. And even some people in Europe that are seeing our content. I don't know why or how. I don't really care. They're here. They're getting involved in the comment section, but they're all like, the vast majority of them are a mixture of sad and a mixture of basically like, well, see ya, America. And I know that some of these people understand that this is not the whole ass fucking country, but there are a couple of people who were like, y'all voted for this. And it's like, no, fuck, we didn't. That motherfucker didn't even win the popular election. He only won because more people voted. So in trying to explain that to them, they're just like, whatever, your country sucks. And it's like, all right, cool, whatever. And I don't want to like get on them too hard, and I get it. They're fucking mad because the United States has been like global cop for such a long time, and now all of a sudden it's just like we're gonna go over there and hang out with the criminals and shit, and it's like we're losing. We're gonna lose allies. Like I guarantee you that there's probably gonna be some formal shit happening in the next couple of weeks where people are just like, yeah, we no longer have an alliance with those guys, and that's gonna hurt. It's gonna fucking hurt.
I'll say it again. The post-World War II neoliberal era officially died yesterday. It's over.
Agreed.
It's over. It's over. What's coming now, I don't even know, because here are the variables that I don't know, that I don't think anybody really knows. Number one, what is the international policy of the Trump administration? Part two. What are their strategic objectives? They have not put out a national security strategy yet, but yet they have fired the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the chief of naval operations, which is your first representative militarily around the world, and they have not given guidance on what they expect or want. They just know that they are anti this, anti that. Okay, fine. So what are you for? Let's go there. What are you willing to risk liberty, life, and treasure on because it's that important? That's what a strategy is, right? Okay. Number two, what we also don't know is just how much and how fast Europe's going to ramp up. The arms race will be on. We've already seen this with our friends in Japan.
Right.
They have a constitution that is pacifist. They have made amendments to it. They are arming up because they see what's happening with China. Okay. What have we said to that? Nothing. What have we done to address that? Nothing. Okay. So Japan's doing this already. If you don't think the NATO nations who are in Russia's backyard don't see this happening and what's going to happen because of it, you're crazy. They're already talking. Macron has already visited these countries. Okay. Number three, our closest allies, the ones that are right on our borders, have been insulted repeatedly. They have been engaged in a possible trade war. We have militarized at the border, which obviously is not going to help thaw relations there. So America's closest allies, their oldest allies overseas, the countries they helped rebuild in Germany and Japan are rearming. Where are we going? This is all in the backdrop of the domestic issues where you have gutted the civil service. You have basically turned away thousands of people who have the subject matter expertise to deal with situations like this. Heaven help the next hurricane that happens because FEMA's gutted. USAID is gutted abroad. Okay. And all of this has happened simultaneously. And the only people to seem to have any hands on the rudder, as we say in the Navy, is Elon Musk. Domestically and Vladimir Putin internationally. That's where we are. I'm not trying to be bleak. I'm just giving you a situational report on March 1st, 2025.
Yep.
See,
this is where we are.
I think Trump wanted to stay out of prison, right? But I think Musk is the one that wants to be the next Hitler. That's what I think.
He seems to have that bent. I mean, he bought the election for him with all of his donated money, and Trump is all about that. I don't know what Elon Musk would have to do because he's wealthy and he's obviously the best person because he's wealthy. I don't know what he would have to do for Trump to cut him off. But I think that's definitely the agreement. I will buy this for you. You stay out of prison, and then I get to do whatever I want.
Right.
I 100% agree. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not trying to be one of these, oh my God, Chicken Little, the sky is falling. But I want y'all to, someone in the chat, y'all can show me another point in human history where we are this connected, where this type of upheaval has happened in such a short amount of time. I'll wait. And keep in mind, I'm a poli-sci major from the Naval Academy and got a master's in national security and strategic studies from the Naval War College. I've studied this and I've lived it. Tell me where this has happened before. Even in the Cuban Missile Crisis, where the world thought the world was going to shoot each other up and nuclear destruction was mutually assured, even then, there were still rational people at the table that stopped it. I don't know where we go for that. right now? Who in the Trump administration is going to raise their hand and say, no, we have to stop this. This is unacceptable?
The people
the
that
director of
spoke
national
out last
intelligence?
time, he canned them. I mean,
Right.
He's tried his best to get people who he are just going to do whatever he wants this time. So,
you know, it's like I said to Major Ojeda the other day. I said, I'm this close to telling these people, forget the Capitol. Wait until these assholes in Congress go home and then find their front doorstep and make sure that they don't sleep and make sure that they don't eat and make sure that they don't feel secure in their homes, and then see what happens. Because otherwise, unless we bring it to them and make them uncomfortable, I don't see anybody standing up, right? I just don't.
Well,
I think that somebody could stand up and say, you know, I can't live like this. Well, guess what? The guy who's coming from Missouri can't live like this either, because we were on his doorstep too. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's where I'm at this point, because otherwise nobody's going to save us. We've got to save ourselves if we can even do it. It's a long shot, but we got to try.
Well, you've started to see it in the town halls already.
Right.
I mean, I'm down here in Georgia, and very red districts have had some very harsh town halls down here. And, you know, at first I thought it was just going to be because domestically the job layoffs and the trickle-down effect of economics. But people are not as dumb as people may think. They're literally saying, hey, we didn't want this foreign national to come in here and run our government. That's not what we voted for, even if they voted for Trump. Because Trump didn't talk about doing that before, you know, the election. And then the last 24 hours, people saw what it's like to see.
Nope. Did we freeze again?
Oh, no.
I guess Tim has the night off.
Went to get another drink. Maybe.
We saw that bottle get drained pretty quick.
Oh, man.
I'm only on Crystal Light. I had one cocktail and an edible, and that was...
I had one at the concert last night. I was about to make myself one, but I didn't want to jump off until Tim came back. No. I think that there should be a group of Republicans go to the White House and demand to speak to Trump and have a frank conversation, because there are some of them that have spoken out. People like Lisa Murkowski.
They're also afraid of him. But if they band together, there's nothing to fear.
Just wait until he kicks them out of the White House. Because what would happen if that happened?
Yeah.
Would that not be a signal to everybody of his middle finger to even people in the Republican Party? Because he doesn't care about Republicans. He wasn't even always a Republican.
No. He doesn't care about anything.
He doesn't care about policy. He just cares about whatever he has to do to get what he wants.
Or prison. That's all he cares about.
Yeah, I fully believe that would have been the deal, is that it'll keep me from going to prison and it'll let you be a megalomaniac, which is what what he is.
He just loves to be a villain.
I know. Can you imagine somebody more unlikable than he's just? And I think it is interesting because there is quite a lot of tenor within the town halls and the comments that I see from people in Wyoming, where of course it's very, very red.
Did you say that one today was a veteran that stood up? Was it
I posted that. Yeah, the one where it was in Kansas.
He was like, "Don't you care about veterans?" And the guy just got up and ran.
And he's like, "Oh, I got a couple other things I got to do. Thanks for coming."
God bless America.
I know. God bless. Oh, he's halfway down the hall. God bless America. They got scared by they were telling him, just don't do town halls anymore because of the thing that happened in Idaho. Oh no, it's an open forum. There may be Democrats show up. The 5 Democrats in Idaho showed up.
We're going to have to bring it to their doorstep. That's what I think is going to happen.
I think that's true. Yeah, I think that is true. You have to make it uncomfortable. You have to take a stand.
I mean, I don't want to jump the gun.
Like this is just supporting the president's agenda.
Yeah, I don't want to jump the gun, because people are saying things like, well, what is this boycott doing? What is this protest doing? Yeah. What it's doing is it's teaching all y'all that have not been organized for so many decades how to organize, what to do, why you need to do it, what impact it's going to have. Change your spending habits. Changing your spending habits is something that lasts long term. Once you do it, you've done it.
Yeah.
Right. And you get into a habit of doing it. So once you do that, I feel like people are really going to start understanding that you have to be ready to organize. You have to be ready to get up and go. You have to be ready to protest. You have to be willing to do things as a group.
People think this is like the people that have in their heads that the parties are the same, and that this is just, we can coast along and this will all resolve itself because, you know, both sides are the same. And there's going to be a moment. That's when they're getting that's the fucking around and finding out when it affects them personally, because it's more, I think it's becoming more and more people who are seeing these things and going, wait a minute, we don't want to alienate Europe.
I didn't want to lose my Social Security. I didn't want to lose my veterans benefits. I didn't want to lose yada, 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 my farm. I mean,
there's so many things because it's been such a blitz.
Can I ask y'all a question? What are y'all doing to encourage those that are in the fight? So I got friends that are, you know, still working the government. They seem to be waiting to be fired because there's no rhyme or reason to this.
Right.
For a couple of them, we've sent, you know, like pictures of, hey, remember your oath, or the picture of the oath they took when they signed up.
Yeah.
You know, to try to reassure them that, hey, they're doing the right thing. And this is the thing that I can't stand, the narrative that they're throwing out, that Elon Musk, again, who was not born here, is throwing out, is like, well, you know, government workers are inherently lazy, they're not good, or else they'd be in the private sector. That is complete and utter bullshit. Yeah. I know people all up and down the government, to include my sister, family members, stuff like that, who are overqualified for the jobs they have, could be making way more money in the private sector, but they want to serve their country.
Yep.
I know veterans, tons of them, who take the uniform off and then go right back into government service because they still want to feel like they're helping their country. Absolutely. And you're cutting these people. And I'm like, how dare you? First of all, you never did anything where it's not about you.
They don't understand service.
Don't understand sacrificing for someone else or somebody greater than themselves. That's not a conservative or liberal thing. That's just being a good person and a great citizen. Okay. The government workers, government contractors I've worked with, contractors, workers, whatever, have been exceptional because we've asked them to do some pretty damn hard things. That if we contracted it out to Elon's company, A, wouldn't be done nearly as well, and god dang it, would not be done at cost like they're doing. They're doing us a favor. When I'm in the middle of the damn Persian Gulf with my boats and this, that, and the other, and things were falling apart, and I needed people came to me and they didn't have to do so. We don't want you on that line without the stuff that you need, because the give a damn factor was there.
Right.
It had nothing to do with the paycheck they're receiving. So when I hear this narrative, it pisses me off to all get out. And it's coming from, as someone pointed out there, a dude that deferred and dodged a draft 5 damn times. And another dude that came in like a damn vulture and stole a company and made more money off of every company he gets subsidies from. How dare they be the damn standard bearer, or they're the judge, jury, and executioner who should be working in the government, who shouldn't be.
Calling other people parasites.
Right. The ultimate parasites are them. Man, do you know how, like, especially certain positions in the government, how ridiculous qualified, how many degrees that you have to have, how many hours and certifications that you have to have, right? And to sit there and talk about some, well, you know, we don't know if they're qualified, and you take that resume and go into the civilian sector and immediately you get picked up, making more money than this. And here's the insult to injury. You've got people in that party right now who are like, oh yeah, you'll be fine. Just go get a job, blah, blah. You don't get it. All that experience walks out the door. And then you're going to try to call it back, like the nuclear safety people that they fired without thinking about it. Or as they even admitted, the Ebola prevention people that they fired without thinking about it. That's the stuff they're telling you. What do you think they're not telling you?
Right.
Like they're being careful and no, that's not how you do this.
They're going to be so cautious.
FAA air traffic controllers.
Yeah, the safety.
I asked yesterday for more air traffic controllers. I was like,
I know the retired people come down to the
I was literally in an airport, yesterday, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, this dude has a help wanted sign for goddamn air traffic controllers. Are we serious?
Elon tweeted about this. Yeah. He said, if you've retired, come back. and join the FAA again. And I'm like, they
Aren't
can't.
retired people DEI hires?
Yeah,
Yes,
the
they
DEI
are.
hires. Elderly people would be DEI hires.
Yes, they
Retirees
are.
would be DEI hires.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the people who have retired were forced to do so because those are the regulations for the FAA.
They want special treatment, just like, and I got to get on this while we're on this. The replacement for General Brown that's going to be nominated for chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. Mr. Lieutenant General retired Raising Cane. Okay, no knock on him and his career. But in 1986, we passed this thing called the Goldwater-Nichols Act. And in it, it laid requirements for high-level command officers, FOGOs, flag general officers, right? If you are going to be the chairman of the Joint Chiefs Staff, you have to meet these requirements. Number one, you have to be a 4-star. This man retired a 3-star. He's automatically eliminated. But okay, let's say that doesn't exist. Number two, you have to be a combatant commander, meaning one of the 9 that we have. That's NORTHCOM, CENTCOM, SOUTHCOM, INDOPACOM, UCOM, JointCom, STRATCOM, and SOCOM, Special Warfare. You have to be a commander of one of those, which, by the way, are all 4-star positions. 4. He wasn't that. Okay? And then finally, if he did not meet those requirements, they have to be a service chief, meaning the chief of naval operations, the chief of the Army, the chief of the Air Force, or commandant of the Marine Corps. You have to meet those wickets. This man did not do any of those. And they're going to present him because he told Trump that he loves him and would kill for him when he saw him in 2017, 2018. Yes. The ultimate DEI hire is going to replace the black guy that has, I want to say, twice as many combat hours as a fighter pilot, an Air Force Academy graduate. When, by the way, it wasn't raining black people at the United States Air Force Academy. My brother's a grad, I'm telling you, okay? Went through all of that, okay? Made those major combat commands you're supposed to do, right? And then made sure the people behind him had the same chances, if not better than he did, no matter where they're from. That's why they fired him. Admiral Franchetti, Lisa Frank, the first woman to be on the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Okay? I personally know her because we were stationed at the Naval Academy when I was a lieutenant and she was a commander. That woman has more water under the keel, as we say in the Navy, than pretty much anybody I know. 40 years. And by the way, when the Navy, what happened last year in the Navy? The Navy ships got shot at in the Red Sea. We actually went to war in the Red Sea. People forget this. It was like on the back page, we knocked down missile after missile after missile and took out people trying to kill U.S. Navy ships. And they all got knocked down hard. You know why? Because we had ships that were deployed, that were equipped, trained, and ready to execute the mission. The Navy went to war in 2024, and she was at the head of the Navy. And we're like, hey, let's fire her. You know, just because. Are you kidding me? You have a proven combat leader at the head of the Navy that is giving you a vision for 2030 and beyond, definitively, and we fired her because she had the criminal mistake of being a woman. Pisses me off to no end because if this is about merit, the people that are replacing the people that have been there don't have it. But you're going to tell me what DEI is. Didn't earn it. The new goddamn chairman of the Joint Chiefs Staff didn't earn it.
That's perfect. I got to write that down for something.
Yeah.
Fun.
But he looks like something that stepped out of a Humphrey Bogart movie in 1942, and so therefore everybody's happy about this shit. I'm not.
No.
No.
By the way, can I ask you, Bobby, did you hear about the thing that Norway said today where they're not going to be refilling any of the Navy ships?
No.
That just
Norway
happened right
said,
before I
yeah.
came on today.
Yep. Norway said no.
Norway
so let me
said
explain
no,
to y'all
no
why
more
that's
fuel.
a big deal. Let me explain to y'all why that's a big deal.
The company that did it put out a tweet and basically called it like a shit show. Like they put their statement out in English and were like, because of the shit show that we just saw. And I was like, fuck it. We earned it.
For ships to remain at sea as long as they do, right? we have to get not just our ships, but other countries' ships to refuel us. Our gas station are ships that come alongside us and keep us filled. Gas, food, mail, you name it. That's how we get it. So you're telling me Norway, which is really good at that, is said they're not going to help us anymore?
Yeah.
They're kind of in a critical place, aren't
The company
they?
that runs that whole thing, or the department, was like,
And I don't know about you guys, but what I keep finding myself saying is, can't blame them.
No, it's hard. Yeah, it's hard. Rooting against your own country, it's not fun.
I mean, you just can't. There's no standing up, right? There's no standing up against this. I don't have a leg to stand on. I don't have a way to argue on our behalf. Can't blame them.
I had no idea that happened today.
Yeah,
that there are real impacts. And here's my other fear. What if that's just the first one to say the same thing? What if other countries decide to do that?
I guarantee it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Guarantee.
And so now the strategic reach of the United States Navy is going to be affected. Let me say this to people. The United States is a superpower militarily. And I keep telling people the reason why is because we have the capability to strike anywhere on this planet on behalf of our country. That's what makes us a superpower. Soviet Union at one point was. China with their Silk Road initiative is close to becoming one, right? But what gives us the latitude to do these things is other countries trusting us,
right,
and giving us the access to their equipment, their land, their airspace. And when you don't have trust, they'll take that away, as we're just now seeing. And if you don't think that has a strategic impact on what we do, you're crazy. I just can't believe that this is. Wow, we're like someone just said, Robert Carr in the chat. We're a pariah. We're becoming a pariah. We're becoming a pariah, but yet, as Diane Russell said in the chat, we're sending 3,000 troops to the border. Make that make sense to me, y'all. I can't. I can't.
So embarrassing.
There's no
I've seen
sense
too
to it
much.
at all.
Yeah.
So I guess the last thing I want to do is, I know it sounds bad, but we gotta keep everybody encouraged, right? You can't let this stuff just slide. When you have these conversations, if people are bold enough to have conversations with you, y'all got to lay out to them why this is important, why this matters. They think, most people in America think that they're shielded from these things, right? They're not. It's eventually, the bill comes due eventually. It really does. And so the trade war, when things cost so much money and this, that, and the other, or most importantly, when a nation that we don't see coming decides to attack another nation, and we continue to have that domino effect that keeps happening, and we have people who are incompetent in position to do something about it, that's when it's going to hit the fan. Yeah. I tell you, when people will really be scared, if a year from now they institute a draft because we don't have a military that's actually large enough or capable enough to do anything, then everybody's going to want to riot. When it's your kid that may get plucked from high school or college and sent off to go fight.
Yep.
That's what's going to happen.
We were talking about the other day that they came out, the White House published their, whatever it was, Make America Healthy Again bullshit page, whatever. And in there it says, the kids aren't healthy enough to become part of the military.
Wait, so say that again.
It said in there.
The current children are not well enough to become part of the military. They're not healthy enough.
That's why we need to have a health initiative.
Have this goal to get them into the military.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not hiding it.
I can do more.
That's my favorite emoji these days. Is the one with the eyes closed and just going.
and so to make sure that they're healthy, you here in the last week, you cancel the annual flu vaccination meeting that all the pharmaceutical companies have to look at which variants and strands of the flu are going to be an issue, and to coordinate the freaking vaccination process to make sure we're covered. We canceled that for the first time in how many decades?
We don't believe in germs.
I mean, why not rely on 14th century goddamn medical science when you have
healthy besides germs?
Viruses aren't real.
Did you see there was a tweet from somebody who was like, I've been working in this industry for like 20 years and I never thought I would see this. And he posts a picture of somebody else's tweet where the guy was like, I have faith that RFK can help eradicate measles. Just give it time. And I was like,
we don't have
we
time.
already did that.
It already was eradicated, you fucking
It was eradicated. The reason that it's coming back is because that motherfucker.
It's
Like,
because he's
he's
encouraging
why?
people to not get their kids vaccinated, and I'm living it right now. I got an email from my employer saying this kid went on a college tour around San Antonio, stopped in at Buc-ee's for good measure, touring around our campus.
Wow.
And he's
Wow.
got measles.
Yes.
And the fact that it stays in the air for 2 hours.
Yeah.
For 2 hours.
And
After you
I'm
walk
not
through a
worried
room.
about me. I'm not worried about my kids. I'm worried about kids that can't get vaccinated. We just talked about this during COVID. We just talked about how people with compromised immune systems can't get vaccinated, and those are the people that are at risk, and elderly people who have bad immune systems. We're just talked about this, and that being a good citizen is supposed to be getting vaccinated so that you protect your neighbor.
Yes.
Right.
Being a good citizen, ladies and gentlemen, is not about doing whatever the heck you want to do. It's about being responsible.
But they've been sold on a bill of goods that you're supposed to be a rugged individualist.
Yeah, and that's the problem. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Unless people start having these hard conversations with peers, friends, families, this and other, this is going to be the new norm. This is going to be the new norm here. And what I'm afraid of is my kids living in a world where America is not just no longer held on in high esteem status, but it's reviled.
Right.
That if you are American and you go abroad, people look at you with disdain.
They already didn't like us.
Right.
They made fun of us, but they tolerated us
proactively
because we
hating
did
us.
things for them. You know, we did good things too. Now it's starting to be like, okay, you're not worth it. You're not.
Listen, I'm from Florida. I can take being made fun of. I can take being dragged. I can take all the bath salt jokes. That shit don't bother me at all.
I remember the bath salts craze.
Yeah.
I said to somebody the other day, be careful or I'll eat your face.
But no, I mean,
it's the part where we're not trusted even to do good things anymore, right? They're automatically going to start believing that everything we do has an ulterior motive. And you know what? It might just have an ulterior motive.
They can't trust our leadership, and that's who they're making the agreements with.
Well, I'll tell you,
international.
but here's the thing, though. I would argue that's not just a national problem. I'm saying state, local. This is a problem that has infused the entire government right now at all levels. What's happening, like, for example, in North Carolina with that whole trying to steal the Supreme Court. I'm like, these people are something else. You know, I'm just like, yeah, I just saw that too. I mean, we're at the point where people are trying to numb themselves to this. I mean, joking, but yeah, I mean, people are like, when you wake up in the morning right now, right, and you get ready to go to work or do whatever y'all do you have a pause moment where you're just like, oh boy, we got to go and deal with this today, or go and deal with that today? And then you turn on the news, you turn on the radio, and you hear the latest craziness, and you take that deep breath, like, God.
Just had to have a blackout. Just like, I'm turning it off today. There's no way. I cracked a tooth from grinding my teeth. My blood pressure medicine to raise my blood pressure, and my blood pressure was getting sky high.
Yeah, I had my doctor actually ask me about that. They're like, why are you having a flare of, nerve issues in your face? Why are you having all of this problems with your jaw lately?
Right.
I know why. Because I'm not sleeping. When I am, I'm punching my jaw. I don't even realize I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Tim, what'd you say that you start your day off with?
I start my day off with an hour before I even punch into work. And I'm a project manager. I work remotely, so I literally get out of bed in my, put on my pajamas, go to the kitchen and pour my coffee, and then I relax for an hour, and then I start my day. And I don't touch the fucking internet. I don't do shit. I might check in on Discord to make sure that shit didn't burn down with whatever communities I'm in. But beyond that, I'm just like, I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna watch fucking My Little Pony. I'm gonna drink this coffee because that's my self-care. And then once 7, 8 o'clock rolls in and I'm already at work and I've resolved all my issues, because I can knock out everything I got to do in an hour, and then an hour into work, I'm like, all right, now I'm caffeinated, let's roll. and that's when I'll go check shit. And then about fucking 8:30, I'm like,
yep.
I'm ready.
No, well, it's kind of fun. I saw Angela said, you know, she had to take 2 days off. I mean, I get it. So this is what I'm telling myself, and especially after seeing what I saw yesterday, I'm going to act like I'm a Ukrainian soldier right now. I got to get up, take a moment, and then I got to grind. I got to sit there and I got to go to work. I got to deal with it the best way I can. But I'm telling you now, those guys are on the front line. They feel like they're isolated. And, you know, I'm sure that what happened at the White House did not help their morale at all, but they got no choice but to fight. I know I've seen the reports, you know, a friend of mine, Ken Harbaugh, went out there. These guys hadn't seen their families in months, sometimes years. And they're like, look, we got to do what is necessary. So everybody that's on this stream has a little bit of warrior in them. We just don't tap into it much. We got to start tapping in like hardcore. We got to. You got to approach your day. Be thankful that your family's there. Be thankful that your friends are there. But damn it, think about the cats that did nothing wrong, and all of a sudden their house next door is blown up. The place they work is blown up. You know what I'm saying? So you got to step. I think this is why Ukraine resonates with so many people. I mean, no matter your background, your country, no color, whatever. This has resonated around the world because people can relate to when a bully comes in and smacks you, and you got a choice. You either can capitulate or you can fight back with everything you got, and they got to take this from your dead cold fingers. And I think that's why this resonates. I mean, it pisses me off to no end.
And you can see it. That's the thing. The internet makes it so you can see it.
Yes.
And you can share it. And definitely seeing it makes a big difference for people.
Yes. I mean, the change that you've seen in Zelensky, and believe me, his people get mad at him too, and they should, because he's still going to be held accountable. But the change from when he came into office to now has been unbelievable. The way he's aged, the way he's looked, but he still is fighting. And to deal with what he had to deal with on Friday, I don't even think Trump would even know what to do if he was put in a similar situation. I really don't.
No. Remember there was some civil disturbance outside the White House, and he was like, take me to the bunker or some shit, and they fucking rushed him to whatever subterranean.
Yep. The PI.
Fucking jizz mop is underneath the White House.
Yep. Or when he had to go visit the troops the one time he did in Afghanistan, and he was terrified to land, you know, and all this other kind of stuff. I mean, all this tough guy, and the fact that he said, we've made you a tough guy. When that man, his wife, and his kids did not leave, he tried to send his family away. They were like, we going nowhere. No, you're right. He's not a tough guy. They're a tough family. Because I know for a fact, Donald Jr., Eric, and the rest of the damn Tweedledum people would have been gone. And they stayed with young kids. They stayed.
The temperatures were bad.
I mean, I'm just saying. You look, history's going to judge every action that man is making. You know, in my opinion, probably unfairly. But I know this. I know when a dude has large ass balls. When you're sitting there dealing with one of the largest armies in the world at your doorstep, and you're like, I'm going nowhere. And when you got mayors like freaking a former heavyweight boxing champ that's 6'6", carrying a Ma Deuce on his shoulders, like, I'm going to kill Russians. I'm like, oh, dude, where do I sign up for this? Where do I sign up for this? It was like a real life G.I. Joe episode. I was like, dude, I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
I was seriously considering turning over Sons of Liberty to the other admins and going to fight. And they're like, no, you can't, because you got I was going through some custody shit at the time. And they're like, if you do this, that judge is going to be like, well, he went over to go fucking play Warfare. So,
yeah. But that instinct was in you, wasn't it, though? I don't know of any vet that was like, fucking, man.
I pulled my wife aside and I said, listen, some shit is going on. And my wife knows me. And she just kind of looked at me. She's like, no. There's something I wanted to bring up was the fact that where does Ukraine go from here now with this? And I think so this whole time Ukraine has been really, really reserved because certain actions were not allowed under the previous administration. They weren't allowed to escalate things. They don't have that holding them back anymore. I think we're going to see Ukraine fucking take off the gloves because they've already gone into Russia.
Yes, they have.
And they went into a place that was like, hey, Ukrainians are here. Cool. You guys want to hang out? You guys want to drink? You want some food? And Russia was like, what the fuck are you guys doing? And they're like, it's the dudes from across the field.
Yes.
And they're like hanging out and shit. And they're like, yeah, we're having a party. And then Russian troops like tried to come in and they're like, no, go the fuck away. You're going to ruin this.
Yep. No,
I think Ukraine's going to fucking escalate. And what's left of Russia?
Tim, after Friday, what the hell do they have to lose?
Right.
Zelensky asked for security guarantees. That's what he asked for. The same thing when they gave up their nukes in the 90s. How's that worked out for them? Right? So if I'm them and Trump, the master negotiator, is like, NATO membership's off the table. Everybody's like, well, that will never happen. You know, they would never get it anyway. Why not? Last I checked, Finland and freaking Norway are there. What are we talking about? Don't give me this border crap anymore. They're like, well, he'll be encircled. Yes, he would. Yes, he would. Exactly. Yes. Because at some point, when you twice in 10 years been invaded, you can't rely on security guarantees unless you know you have Article 5 protection. Let me put it very simply. If someone came into your house to rob it, right, and all they did was get into the living room, and you held them off, you're waiting for the cops and everybody to come, but you held them off in the living room, and the cops show up and they say, look, we're going to have you surrender. We're going to let them just keep the living room, and they swear they're not going to take anything else. Now, they already took the front porch. They did that. You don't worry about that. But we're gonna have they swear they only gonna stay in the living room and you can live the rest. And they're gonna keep all their weapons there too and everything else. Name one person that would agree to those terms. You know what I'm saying? As far as Zelensky's concerned, look, this is my house. I'm gonna live in the whole thing, and if not, we'll die in it. Just like any last one of us would think.
Right. Absolutely.
So I don't get it. I don't get it. That's the most basic way I can put it. And like I said, they already took the front porch in 2014. They came back, and now they're taking the front freaking the damn living room. And now you want me to believe that, hey, if I let them keep this portion of my house, they won't take more. Almost like we've heard this before in the 1930s. It's almost
this is why I think that's where we're headed to World War III, because if you allow Putin, first of all, he shouldn't get an acre of what he took, not one single fucking acre as far as I'm concerned. And on top of that, if you give him any capitulation, you give him any inch, he's never gonna stop. Do you guys understand? He's never gonna stop. He's gonna come for Poland next. Then he is ready to go. He's already, in Trump's head, rent free.
I think Moldova would be next, but yeah.
Oh, I was about to say, Moldova's right there. Did you see how fast Moldova's president spoke out? He was like, hey, no, this is no.
So I would absolutely love to see NATO and the UN that's not like fucking Russia and the United States basically say, you know what? You motherfuckers are outnumbered. Shut the fuck up and go sit down. Go have several seats. Shut the fuck up, Donnie. You're out of your element. And then back Ukraine fully and maybe not put troops on the ground, but give them literally everything that they need and say, you got carte blanche. The fucking United States isn't going to do shit. We're not going to let them in our airspace. And have those motherfuckers just continue to steamroll what they're doing. Because the only thing that Putin is trying to get out of this is the removal of the economic sanctions, because they're hurting so bad. They've lost so many dudes. They've lost so many equipment. There's not a whole lot left. So literally the only thing that he's trying to get is, fucking economic stuff to get his country's economy back on track. That's what he's shooting for. So, and if the United States wants to try to back that, oh my God, I feel like, I don't know about the MAGA cult, but I feel like at a certain point, if we decide we're going to throw in with Russia against Ukraine, that's going to be it. There's going to be so many people that are just like, fuck this. Let's go. We're going to fucking drive to DC. Mount up, boys.
Look, I never thought I'd be alive to see something like this, right? But it did give my heart hope when I saw people who were conservative, people who were Republican, people who even voted for Trump yesterday. Social media decided, look, I voted for Trump, but no way am I cool with this. Now, I know a lot of people on the left are like, man, fuck those guys. They're the reason we're in this problem, this situation. No. We ain't got time for this right now. What you're seeing is an unraveling of the entire way of life post-World War II. Like I said, that millions of people died for. It ain't perfect. Lord knows it ain't perfect. But I'm telling you now, going back the other way is not what you want.
It's secure.
Yes.
It was secure. Now it's like
stable.
Yep.
Now no one knows what the heck is going on. So what I would tell people, like, talk to people if there is any sliver of sanity in them, work to get the rest of it out. Because there's no way, if you were looking at this logically and rationally, can we sit there and say the United States needs to side with Russia on this? I mean, they're trying to rewrite history, is what the current administration is trying to do to justify this. Like we didn't all see Russia just nakedly go into Ukraine. Everybody's like, what the hell is happening here? Right? So look, I noticed it was rough to watch. It was rough to watch, people. But I think it's a blessing in disguise, because I think, it galvanized Europe. Hell, it galvanized the world. They were like, this is unacceptable. Australia, Japan, everybody's like, no. Mm-hmm. Now, the problem is it galvanized them against us, against our leadership.
Now I know what the axis of evil felt like. Fucking 2001.
I'm going to say this. We're the bad guys now.
That fucking sucks.
Do y'all hear what I'm saying? Chat, do y'all hear what I'm saying? The United States of America, we're with the bad guys. And I don't know how you process that. I just can't. I'm just, wow. I said that out loud for the first time.
I know our country has like a history going back centuries of doing dumb shit and bad shit to people that are not of this complexion, but goddamn, like, I don't want to, that should be in the past. Like, I don't want to live through that era. Like, I want to look back in the history books and be like, haha, those dumb fuckers. How did they not know? I don't want to be in that era, but in the fucking 21st century. Like, that's just...
I was raised to believe that we've done better. And so now it's like, oh no, we have not. Holy shit. No.
We have had moral ambiguity, to say the least, in our 248-year history. Trust me. I know. But on the international stage, we have never been the anti-freedom water boy. Not like this. I mean, Putin couldn't do it any better than we're doing right now for him. We are his biggest advocate, not Belarus, not China. The United States of America has changed its entire way of doing business and its standards for actions to appease one person. We put a DNI, the head of director of national intelligence, who many believe she's compromised by the Russians. She's now in charge of our intelligence. We have a conspiracy theorist that's now in charge of the FBI, backed up by a deputy who is borderline psychotic, that has gone out of his way in the last 5 years to excuse Russia's actions. Every move that has been made since January 20th has been made to do two major things in my mind. Internationally, to appease and aid Russia, and domestically to divide this country as much as humanly possible to keep people conquered. That's it. That's how I break this down. And I'm telling you right now, that if we don't snap out of it and pull our heads out of our collective asses, this experiment, which it is, and I said that in one of my TikTok videos, this long-running experiment of democratic republic will be over.
Shit, wait, you're on TikTok?
Yeah, I'm on that too. I'm telling y'all, man, I wish I had better news. I'm trying to be upbeat, but 26 years of military training has shown me I have to take the facts as I see them and put them in historical context so I understand what's happening now and I can be prepared for the future. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are not doing what we're supposed to do as a country, citizens-wise, representative-wise, and definitely leadership-wise. And the world sees it. They're calling us out on it, and they're losing faith with us by the day.
What's your TikTok? I want to follow you, Sons of Liberty.
Normally, I have all of everybody's social media already lined up in a paragraph that I publish, but
copy and paste. My fault.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I've just been so like pissed off and into all this that my TikTok, just so y'all know, let's see here, is at BRJ4287.
BRJ
4287.
Gotcha.
I think I found it. Yep, there we go. Oh, you got a mustache.
Yeah, I'm trying to look like I'm older. Apparently I've been, carded going into certain establishments. It's not cool.
I still get carded, and I got like a salt and pepper beard, and I'm like, are you fucking hitting on me?
I'm a grown ass man.
Never. How old do I look? Jesus.
No, man, no.
Color our hair.
It's rough, man. But no, I mean, look, everybody, we got to keep fighting. We got to stay the course. The country's worth fighting for. But most importantly, I hate to sound dramatic, but now the world's at stake.
Yep,
I mean,
somebody
that's not an
in
exaggeration.
comments said that now we're part of the axis of evil.
I mean,
that's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah. You ain't kidding.
I mean, I'm just telling y'all, I can't with this. I just keep looking at myself. If I told my 17-year-old ass before I signed to go off, this is what's going to happen. And I can hear myself now. You're going to tell me the dude that runs the casinos in Atlantic City and no one likes him.
Bankrupted casinos.
Yeah, bankrupted them. And some dude from South Africa who I've never heard. What? No.
There's a lot of things that have happened that we never could foresee, like things that we thought would never happen, like Roe v. Wade and things like that. And how naive were we?
Granny said we're the axis of idiots.
Yeah. Well, we've been the axis of idiots for a long time.
That's good. I like that. We should fucking make a meme about that shit.
Well, my thing is,
I'm looking at you. You're the queen of memes.
Axis of idiots or axis of evil?
I want everyone to feel like they need to get up and get involved. That's what I want more than anything. We've got Veterans March coming up on March 14th. What else do we have, Tim? The media march coming up the day. Is it the day after that or the following day?
14th, 15th,
so
16th.
There's a March 4th thing, I think, in all 50 states that 501 is doing. And then the weekend of the 14th. So March 14th is the Veterans March Against Fascism.
Okay.
I will say I don't have a confirmed location or start time. It is in Washington, D.C. I would expect it to be somewhere between 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. start time. They are waiting for the permits. The permits need to be, they're trying to do everything by the book. And the reason that they're trying to do everything by the book is so that they can say, I did it by the book. And then if you know, shit doesn't go, they're just like, fuck it, we ball. The 15th rally, 15th and the 16th rally points are going to be different. Start times are going to be the same. Start times are 12 p.m. Eastern. The 15th, we are forming up at Fox News to protest. And then the 16th, we're forming up at Heritage Foundation to protest.
Ooh, sure they'll love that.
Good. And everybody should be, in the meantime, boycotting. Everybody. Get rid of your Amazon. Leave whatever, you know, tech bro oligarch social media sites you want to leave. But everybody should be doing something. And everybody should be doing something. Everybody should be getting involved. And, you know, drag your friends with you. It's important. We need to be there. We need to show strength in numbers.
Someone put in chat that on March 7th, there's a Stand Up for Science protest. I'll have to look at what that means.
I don't know what it means, but I'm in because I'm all about that.
Oh, Carville. Oh, somebody's mentioning Carville. I read that though. You know, he had a lot of good points though. He said that we can sit back, but that was before the thing with the thing yesterday. But he does have good points, which is that they're just playing it. They're just playing the Democrats.
I guarantee you, if you asked him today, he would say very different things.
I wouldn't be surprised that this might have this crossed the line for a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely, and it should.
I would agree. I would definitely agree across the line. I think we saw a line of demarcation happen yesterday.
I think that when people were watching and posting about it live too, like you could see it as it was happening. That is what was happening.
Well, it is what it is. We're not going to sit there and watch people lie about it. I mean, at some point, you just have to admit what it is. I'm sad that we're at this point, but ladies and gentlemen, you get the country that you're willing to stand up for.
Sad and embarrassing.
Do you have any comms with flag officers? Like,
I have had some conversations with a couple behind the scenes. And it's interesting, you know, they have been so conditioned to be apolitical and not speak out. But I think that's starting to thaw. So you saw the defense secretaries release their letter yesterday, right? Talking about the firing of the chairman, etc. I think you're going to see a lot more flag officers. And so I also think you're going to see the administration try to cut that off at the pass and say all of them are woke. They're going to do that to try to discredit, you know, the decades and really centuries of combined service that they've given this nation, and especially this generation of flag officers that actually had to conduct a war. You know, and we're going to watch people who did not have the testicular or ovarian fortitude to put on the nation's cloth question their loyalty and their dedication to the United States of America, to which I scoff, my dear friends, on that. Like, I will be haughty about it. Like, these hoes don't have the right to say that. And by hoes, I'm spelling it H-E-A-U-X. Hoes do not have the right to say that. Period. I'm not doing it. We're not going to sit here. Someone's going to talk about some General Mattis and this, and I will go to the mat on this. On the mat. If a freaking Stephen Miller's got the nerve to question one. If he doesn't get his damn wannabe egghead love child ass off the damn screen talking this nonsense, looking like Joseph Goebbels reincarnated. I don't have time to waste my time on idiots.
He is.
I don't. And so what people need to understand is when you have people who have made the decision to put it on the line for this country, and many of them damn near died because of it, especially in the early days of GWAT. A lot of those guys that became generals and stuff like that were 05s, 06s marching to Baghdad, going in Afghanistan. Okay. When you can sit there and put yourself in the same shoes, then you have a right to comment. But until then, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Just like I will never question a policeman or a fireman that goes into the fire.
Pee Wee Himmler. That's the best.
Pee Wee Himmler.
I think we had a picture of him at some point where we had like superimposed his face on Goebbels or Himmler's.
Himmler. Yeah, the glasses thing. You just got to put the glasses on. I think.
That dude is like 10 years younger than I am. And I'm
Crazy.
like, bro, why do you have a weak chin and no hair? Like I'm pushing
Gravity
50,
is
but look at
whipping
this
that
bad boy.
man's ass.
I got this motherfucker cut. Yeah, I got a
Yes,
whole ass
because you
beard,
have
whole
hair.
fucking-
It's, I
and this
mean,
dude's
gravity.
like the white race. Like, fuck off, bro. You fucking
Gravity is crushing this
bitch.
dude, and then like the succubus of whatever god that he has sold his soul to is just slowly taking change every month from him. I'm like, good lord.
I like that you know the word succubus.
Man, please. I mean, there's no other way to describe. I mean, and here's the thing that's so interesting to me. That whole administration is so interested in appearances. You know, you have a press secretary that obviously had plastic surgery done at some point, you know, to look a certain way and this, that, and the other. You have Trump, who is so infatuated by how square a jaw is, and that's why he's got Hicks up there. These are the metrics that they think are important. Meanwhile, the world is falling apart. The economy is cratering. The world is more destable militarily. You're starting a trade war. You're firing your civil employees and all the requisite knowledge that they keep. And you're going to sit there and tell us here, and this was going to happen here in a few, the tax cuts that they want to impose to the rich, you're going to come and tell the veterans, we need to decrease your benefits to pay for it. And I'm telling you now, some of us Veterans for Responsible Leadership, we're preparing for this because we know it's going to come. Because it's not going to, you can't balance this unless you take this money out of somewhere. And the people who serve the most are going to be asked, let's reduce your benefits. Notice he said we're not going after Medicare, Medicaid, or Social Security, which I believe they're going to go after Medicaid.
They're slowing the growth. That's how they're getting away with saying it's not a cut. They're slowing the growth because this is money that was already agreed on, and they're just spending it.
Bingo. And it will not match the pace of inflation.
Right.
And so people want to feel it. We've already seen it with Medicaid, where people who, insulin was capped at $35. Not so much anymore.
That's going to go away.
So
they're looking at the things that they hated in the SAVE Act. Those are the things that they're going after right away.
Very much so. So that's why our voices need to be heard. They need to be consistent. We just can't spurt and do this. Y'all will see me on my social media multiple times during the week now because it's necessary. It's necessary. And I'm not sitting there saying fire at everything, because a lot of the stuff they do is chaff, like the Gulf of America. Chaff. Okay, you call it whatever you want to. I never even talked about the body of water in the first place. However, explain to me how you're going to give $1 trillion tax cut to the top 1% and make that work. Talk to me about that, shipmate. That's what I want to know about.
It's adding to the deficit that they claim to care about. It's
right. All of a sudden they're fiscally responsible. But Jeff Bezos is going to pay proportionally way less in taxes than I will or you will. That's the reality.
Let's not forget all those subsidies. They're not going to cut those.
Of course, because we privatize the profits and we socialize the losses. That's what we do. And it's better for you because those guys are the job creators.
Yes, it's going to trickle down to you. You know it is.
Oh, sure.
I mean, I drive an electric vehicle, and I'm mad as hell that the Inflation Reduction Act, which would have had more EV stations set up, are going away. I'm like, that way, it's because they want to kill that industry, even though the rest of the world, to include China, is expanding that industry. So your near-peer competitors are doing the stuff that you don't want to do because you're stuck in a 1955 pre-Mad Men goddamn version of America, where when you come home, the martini's stirred and shaken, your wife's in heels and she's glossed up, ready to go.
Oh, that's what I've been trying to write a rant about, is the 50% of Republican men who want to make it so that it's a household vote, that you can only vote if your ID says your birth name on it.
Nope.
Vote. And to eliminate no-fault divorce, and they want everybody to women to stay home and shut up.
I want to see an Admin Elo rant, but I was excited to hear about AdminJenn doing her first video.
Yeah, she's working on it.
Yeah.
I'm trying, you guys. I'm trying so hard. You have to understand that for me, when this war started, it's been going on a long time, but when we were officially invaded, my hair started to fall out. I wasn't eating. I wasn't sleeping. I was not okay. And it got to a point where I had to just stop and my husband is, you know, former military, and he wants to watch all the war videos, and he wants to, you know, and I had to say to him at one point, you've got to turn it off, because I can't even listen to it in the background. It's very, very hard. So for me, when I get pissed off, when I get angry, when I get frustrated, the words won't come, because there's so much going on up here, you know. So I'm struggling to do my first rant, but I'll get there.
I'll take your time. Take your time. As long as it comes, man. You know, as long as that baby get here, the labor is going to be hard. You know it.
It's important that people hear us, and I think it's important that a lot of these people hear women, you know, saying, I'm pissed. I don't want to take it anymore.
Yeah, go ahead, Tim. I'm sure we're about to wrap up. So
yeah, I have to wrap things up. I have something else that's gonna go on here in a couple of minutes.
Oh, well, thank y'all for having me on, man. It's great. Feel free to follow me on all our social media platforms and stuff. But
absolutely,
we got to keep fighting people.
I want to have you on again before we march on Washington D.C. too. See if we can get some fucking firepower lined up.
I'll be here.
Yeah, y'all take it easy. Your vet people and organizations and let them know.
Veterans for Responsible Leadership, VFRL.org. Thanks, y'all.
VFRL.org.
All right, y'all have a good one.
All right. Good night.